Hey, this is Jack from Alphacharts with a state of the market video. Today is March 29th, 2025. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, thank you all for watching the video. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also find me on X at Alphacharts365, where I post things all the time about the markets on there, including this video. Um, I also offer an educational product. It's $10 a month, so super cheap and affordable for everybody. I'm kind of keeping it that way on purpose because I think everyone should have access to this type of education. We're talking about in-depth market reports, extended watch lists again for idea generation, just because I don't, the education piece is so y'all can make decisions on your own, right? Not for me to tell you and hand feed you, trades. I do have a focus list video where I show you what I'm looking at for this week, and I annotate all those charts and share those as well. Entries, exits, and stuff like that. It's what I'm looking for, again, as an educational piece. I do a midweek video. I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I do a market note on Sunday and Thursday as well. So I'm keeping you involved in the market all week long. Daily posts just for subscribers. We do a pick of the week, which is a shorter term trading thing, which has been really good. Buy on Monday, we have to sell by Friday, so a very short term. Usually we'll keep that for a swing trade if it works. And we also do members only live streams. That's been great. About once a month, we're doing those. Very interactive, and people come with questions and chart requests. And yeah, it's been a fantastic run. And if you're interested, check it out. I mean, I don't tell you what to do. Everyone makes their own decisions. But if you work full time, you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, you're new to trading, you've been trading for a while, we have all those people, they all come because again, for $10 a month, it's great to have that extra set of eyes and do a lot of the research that you may not be able to do or maybe don't know how to do yet, right? So it's a great way to shorten that learning curve. Anyway, check it out. Click that subscribe button. You can also find me on YouTube. And let's say you're not a Twitter subscriber or you don't do Twitter or X or whatever they call it now. You click the join on YouTube. All that video content is right there as well. So it's a great way to also get again being engaged in the market and everything else again and again thank you to all my YouTube members. Appreciate you all as well. Let's get into these charts. All right. So my base case was that this was turning into a bear flag, right? That if you watch, go back and look at the other stand the market videos. Um, Now, what do I consider this right there? That's a shakeout, right? It's an inverse shake. If I inverse this chart, that would be a shakeout, and then there's your move. So that's what we had there. Basically, a shakeout to anybody that was short the market. They got shaken out, and then it ripped lower. And so I was short in here, right? I did cover, sold, and then I got short again as we came down again, and good for me, right? That was a good move, and also for my subscribers. We talked about being short via what did we do? I think it was SQQQ. Yeah. So this was a trade that we put on. Um, Buying around 35.25, stop around 34.50. Very small risk here, and trail and trim. And we're looking to get out. Hopefully, it moves to about $47, $48, right? Um, and now let it just work the trade. So again, this is a good example of what we do for subscribers. This is a note annotated chart. This is what I'm looking at to put on. People can use this and then they make the trade their own. Sometimes my risk is too tight. So they want a little bit more risk. That makes sense. Everyone makes the trade their own. Anyway, let's go back to the charts. I'm sorry for digressing there, but it was a good example um, on what we do at that subscriber group. Um, anyway, so we have the bear flag, and it came down higher volume. There's really not much to overanalyze this, right? Confirmation of a bear flag, big move. We never got a true follow through day in here. We were expecting this to confirm. We didn't know exactly when, and now it's confirmed. And so we would expect lower prices. Listen, we may see 550-ish. Maybe we get a little bit of support there. We did in the past. That's a spot to watch. If not, let's just see what top to bottom what we're looking like here. That's 63 points or so. Looking for the measured move. right? Okay. So that is this bottom right here is about where I would expect this move to go to. That's my best guess. Again, we don't know. It's just going ABC measured move. That's all I'm doing there. Nothing fancy. But that 511-ish, that's what I'm thinking. All right. Um, There we go. So we have some room to the downside, right? We have a little bit of move right, left in us to the downside. Let's not call bottoms quite yet. On the week, the market was down 1.5% roughly, and you have this bearish outside weekly candle. That's ugly. RSP was down 1.14, so basically, good enough, the same underneath all the moving averages, and looks again very, very similar to the SPY. Qs even a little bit worse. They were down 2.52. Again, mega caps, I think, really hurt in the Qs. And let's just see, let's measure this out too, by the way. Just for funsies. This is just rough measurements. 74 points there. That's only 43 points. 74 points would be right in 420 or so. And 420 aligns with, again, same spot here, right? So that's kind of interesting, right? So that's the potential. Now, again, we may find this area right there, 450, may offer some support. Why? Because it was resistance back here, support over here, support over here. So we may get some support in 450, maybe even a bounce. But I think the measured move coming down to here is the one I'd be watching around 425. And I think that's the likely spot where we start to look for bottoms, right? I think we have some more downside coming. All right, so it was down 2.5% or so. Again, bearish outside weekly bar. That's a pretty ugly bar. 2% down on the equal weights. Again, shows you how the mega caps really outperforming to the downside, right? Mid caps were down. Let's take a look. There it is, down 1%. So mid caps did a little bit better. Again, no exposure to mega caps, right? So it did a little bit better. Kind of holding in there, right? If you just pull my little support resistance area, you know, it's a big spot. It's a big spot, but I think this will eventually break if the rest of the market breaks. And IWM, again, taking it on the chin, down 1.64, bearish outside. All the same stuff goes for that. All right, so index charts continue to look very poor, and my expectation is more downside just based on that. Let's look at the key sectors. Let's see if maybe, if they start to bottom first, then we can maybe say that maybe we're closer to a bottom. So let's look. All right, so first we have XLF. I think this chart is becoming more and more important. So this is something I drew in weeks ago. I said it was a potential, we didn't know, but it had that head and shoulders top-ish look. Financial is super important index. That's why it's in my key sectors. And so now we're watching. Now 47 is the big spot. That's about where the 200 day is going to be, right around this 47 to 48-ish area, 47.50-ish. And so we'll see how this looks, when it retests, if it does it quickly or not. But this will be a major top in financials again. So right now, I'm in the camp of this is a run-of-the-mill ABC type correction. I think if these show extreme weakness, meaning that like this top confirms and starts to move lower, we have a much longer correction coming, right? If they don't, and this is just a sideways consolidation, and we get the ABC move, and then things all heal, then I think that it's just run of the mill. It's all good. So it remains to be seen if it's a run of the mill correction or something greater. We don't know that yet, right? Anybody that says they do, if they can see the future, God bless them, right? But right now, we're watching this to potentially confirm. Again, it's starting to shape up as we thought it could, but it's not quite there yet. We'll see what happens again in this 47 to 47.50-ish area, and right where the 200 day is. All right, let's look at SMH. SMH, bear flag. Again, this is ABC correction. My guess would be probably this 200-ish area is going to be pretty significant spot for semis. Let's take a look here. Maybe it gets there first, right? Because it kind of started correcting first. And again, when we go top to bottom, if we want to do this, that is 48 or so. Yeah, that's only 32. So That would be a logical area, but going on to 48, that's here. Again, that's really kind of no man's land. So sometimes that ABC measurements work, sometimes they don't. This would be the first spot where I would expect this, $200 is a round number as well to see if they dig in. These kind of measured move type stuff, rules of thumb. There is no exactness in there. It's rules of thumb. It gives you a spot to look for with potential, right? That's it. But SMH, again, looks just like it. 200 days now declining. So we have bear market looking stuff. XSD, this is the equal weighted. Again, looks really bad. And then on the weekly, XSD was down 7%. Holy smokes. As SMH was down 6%, almost 6, 5.5%. And XLF was down 0.5%. And I just want to see one more thing. So far, this correction, top to bottom, is a almost 10% correction. So going down to here and getting a 10% bear market look to it, I mean, that's part of market action, right? Our job is to try to sidestep this. Anyway, I digress. There you go. Again, semiconductors just taking. I hope nobody's long semiconductors out there. There has been no reason to be long semiconductors for months now. So if you're long, that's on you. Okay, that's on you. We haven't talked about semiconductors in months. Um, IYT again trying to break down again a little bit. Not looking good. The weekly down 2%. There's nothing good in semiconductor land. I'm sorry, in transports. I like the XTN better personally, and that was down 1.44. Going back to the daily, about to get that death cross. And we're about to lose this support area. So I think transports are going lower. Again, we're setting up for a slowdown recession type in the economy. That's the way I'm looking at this stuff. I don't know if it'll be a deep or shallow recession. My guess will be shallow, but we don't know. But that's what this is kind of telling me. I've always been in the camp of late spring, early summer, that there'll be some recession. I think these charts are saying that we're going to get it. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Doesn't mean we're going to zero. It just means that there's a little contraction in the economy, whether it's due to tariffs or this or that, or just who knows, or just doji. What do we know? Who cares? The point is that's what these charts are kind of saying. ITB, we've talked about this one for now months now, right? This has been the leader, and it is breaking down and confirming. And we talked about that. There's your retest. We were expecting this retest. We were expecting it to hold into the moving averages and then move lower. We're starting to get that, right? So this is a major top in housing. You know what? That's going to be an issue. The pullback, housing has such a big part of our economy. It's coming, right? That's my personal opinion. It's coming, but I think the reset is probably going to be needed. And then what comes after the reset, if we're ready for that, is going to be glorious. So if we could sidestep some of this carnage that we talked about in financials potentially coming, semiconductors, transports, housing, I think we'll be ready for that next leg higher whenever it comes. XHB has that head and shoulders top, just like ITB does. So again, two housing related ETFs, and then you have the Mag 7. And the Mag 7, again, we had the bear flag look. I jumped the gun a little bit on this short, unfortunately. It shook me out right there. I was short them. It happens, but I did get in on the SQQQ one, so short the Qs. Similar, I'm still kind of shorting the mags, just in a different way. Um, but again, this bear flag is confirming, and I think we have a pretty good move lower coming in the Mag 7. Again, whether you start here or here, I would start here personally because that's the flagpole. That's about 10 points, and then I'm going to go here, and 10 points will get you, listen, roughly around here. Again, rule of thumb, roughly around $40. Well, that's makes sense for a support resistance area as well. And I love when all that stuff kind of confirms and dovetails together. It gives me a little bit more conviction in what I'm saying, right? We don't know, but it's a very big area of interest right now, that $40 level in the Mag 7. These aren't dead. These are amazing companies. We're talking about Meta, Amazon, Apple, Google, Nvidia, Tesla, and Microsoft, right? And these are the Microsoft is only 0.07 in this. That's kind of interesting. I wonder why that is, but they really good at Microsoft in this one. In this iteration, they rebalance or something. I don't know. Anyway, that's what it is, right? And maybe because Microsoft looks like mierda. Um, let's pull up Microsoft real fast, and then we'll kind of end the video of that. Look at that. Oof, big rounding top in Microsoft. Um, let's just go through the mega caps. This is a bonus. I usually don't do this on this video, but let's go with that. So you have the Meta right to the 200-day looking weak, right? You have Amazon, very important area. Again, very weak looking. We'll see if it gets a little bounce here, but under the 200-day. Apple, same thing, about to get the death cross. Google, already breaking down. Nvidia in this long range. We'll see what happens when it gets down to this $93 area, $95 area. But at lower seems, already has the cross. Tesla, um, again, looks weak. I think, this $215 area or so is going to be important when it retests it again. We'll see if it holds. And then you have Microsoft again, big rounding top, very small weighting in this. I was actually kind of shocked to see that. It wasn't always like that. They had a bigger weighting, um, but we'll see. Again, already breaking down. So let's round this up. This conclusion is, yeah, be careful out there, right? I think lower is the more likely scenario. Yes, there'll be bounces. There's going to be, movements higher that's going to try to trap you in. But in the end, it's a bearish market. We're only down 10%. I think lower is for the foreseeable future, next few weeks. And then we'll see. Day by day, week by week, take it little by little, preserve your capital. This is the time, right? I mean, you want the time to preserve capital so you have an account ready to go when this does bottom, if it's here or wherever it is. Um, this is the time to not overtrade, period. All right. If you're interested in commentary, I go into internals, I go into watch lists, what's working. Listen, we're long some stocks, we're short some stocks. Like I said, we're short SQQQ, we're long gold miners, right? Gold miners are working. So if you want something to help you just, work with you, guide with you along your way, your journey through the trading thing, consider clicking the subscribe for $10 a month. Listen, it's for everybody, right? There's nobody that can't afford $10 a month out there. If you're trying to trade, then pay a little bit, and hopefully we can help you along your way. The nice thing is it's month to month, so you don't have to you don't like it, it's not for you. It costs you $10. That's all it costs you, right? But for the content you get, best value out there. All right. Again, thank you all for watching the video. If you haven't done so, like and subscribe. YouTube channel. Click the join button too. What the hell if you're not on X, click that join button. $10 a month. Totally worth it. You see all the videos here. Focus list video, weekend videos, midweek videos, 2 midweek videos, right? You see the dates right there. I always put the dates in there. Um, Tons and tons of member content on YouTube. Come join us. Take care, guys. Have a great day.